Attorney General Jeff Sessions is scheduled to testify tomorrow before the Senate Intelligence Committee. The subject, needless to say, is Russia. That's pretty much the only thing Washington can talk about or respond to at the moment. Sessions may strike you as an unlikely Putin conspirator, having spent virtually all of his 70 years living in or representing Alabama. That's an awfully long way from Moscow in every sense. Doesn't matter. Everyone affiliated with the administration is a potential suspect these days. Sessions says that as a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, he talked on 2 separate occasions with the Russian ambassador to the United States. And that's it. That's the total known extent of his contact with the Russian government. But it's enough. According to top Democrats, Sessions must resign immediately.
On March 2nd, I said Attorney General Sessions should not be in that job and he should resign. So that's, what, 3 months ago, more than 3 months ago. So that's my position on him.
I don't even know why he is still Attorney General. He lied before Congress in order to get confirmed. That's a perjury charge. He also lied on his security clearance forms about his Russian meetings. Those are false official statements. He should have resigned months ago.
For the good of the country, Attorney General Sessions should resign.
We've been covering the Russia story most nights on the show for the past 7 months, and over that time we've noticed a theme. Almost all the claims you hear about Russia are general rather than specific. Russia hacked our election. We hear that line almost every day. Okay, we're open-minded. How exactly did Russia hack our election? Well, comes the answer, they just did. All 17 intelligence agencies say they did. Russia undermined our democracy. Okay, but can you be more specific? It's a pretty serious charge, and it might be nice to have some details. They can't provide those details, or they won't. And if you keep pressing for details, they'll attack you personally, as we found out when Adam Schiff, the ranking Democrat on the House Intel Committee, accused me of, quote, carrying water for Putin when I asked him to back up his claims. Character assassination is always easier than making a sensible argument. Which brings us back to Jeff Sessions and Russia. Those 2 meetings with the Russian ambassador, Sergei Kislyak, those have changed the course of recent history. No exaggeration. Sessions was forced to recuse himself from a major Justice Department investigation into Russia and then fend off insinuations that he somehow committed treason because of those meetings. So what were the meetings about? What were they like? Well, since nobody accusing Sessions of wrongdoing seems to know or care, we decided to find out ourselves. So over the weekend, we tracked down an eyewitness to one of those meetings. It took place at the Republican National Convention in Cleveland the first week of July last summer. It was an event called Global Partners in Democracy. Turned out to be a not very scintillating gathering that's staged every 4 years and has been for decades on behalf of scores of foreign diplomats who want to see how American politics works. So Sessions gave a speech, and as he left the stage, about 15 ambassadors walked up to say hi to him. Kislyak was among them. That was the total extent of the meeting right there. Sessions and Kislyak never broke away from the group to talk privately. They never exchanged cash or microfilm or secret messages. We know this from the person we talked to, who was just a few feet away when it happened, but also because that room was filled with more than 100 other witnesses. That includes agents from American diplomatic security in Washington and a number of Obama political appointees from the State Department. They're all standing around as this secret meeting took place. It was a total nothing burger, quote, says the person who saw it, who, by the way, has never worked for Sessions, doesn't even really know him. Quote, I was shocked by how it has been distorted. Well, if you're shocked, you haven't been paying attention. This kind of thing is happening all over Washington right now. Guilt by association, attack by innuendo, classic witch hunt stuff. You ought to be worried about it, too, because if Jeff Sessions can be denounced as a Russian spy, anyone can be. Dr. Wendy Osefo is a political commentator who thinks Sessions must resign, and she joins us tonight. Wendy, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thank you.
So, I mean, I would think, as a progressive, you would believe in hearing evidence before reaching conclusions in due process. He hasn't even testified yet. These meetings amount to nothing, and you think he should resign on the basis of them.
Absolutely, I think he should resign. So let's start on the basis that Jeff Sessions should not even be an attorney general. This is the same man that called the NAACP and the ACLU un-American, the same man who Coretta Scott King said this man should not be anywhere near our government, and his judgeship was rejected. Sessions should definitely resign. He has no business in our government.
Because he disagrees with you. Now, let me just say, I think the
NAACP
is a shadow of itself. I think it's a joke. It's an appalling joke. So does that make me a bad person? No, it makes me someone who disagrees with you on that subject.
It makes you someone who disagrees with me on that subject. However, the difference between you and Jeff Sessions is you are not the attorney general. As an attorney general, you should have a certain decorum when it comes to civil liberties, and he does not.
So anybody who criticizes NAACP or the ACLU should not be allowed to be Attorney General of the United States. That's what you're saying?
I think their judgeship should be rejected as it was for Jeff Sessions. Moreover, with Jeff Sessions, when we look at...
So only people who agree with the political aims of the ACLU and the NAACP... So basically, no one who's right of left should be allowed to govern in the country. I mean, that kind of is the view, I've noticed.
No, that's not necessarily the view. The view is that anyone who is in our government should welcome all thoughts, should welcome all streams of thinking, and Jeff Sessions does not. And that is a problem.
It sounds like you're the one who doesn't. I mean, he disagrees with you on this subject.
Okay.
And so he shouldn't be allowed to hold high government office. That appears to be the case you're making. That's just, is that a constitutional position that you have?
Well, the constitutional position I have is that he lied on SF 86, the form in which made him the Attorney General.
And he lied because he was asked, did you, in the Congress, by the senator from Minnesota, did you, in your capacity as a Trump surrogate, meet with the Russians? And his position is, no, in my capacity as a senator from Alabama, an Armed Services Committee member, I met on 2 occasions in a meaningless way with Kislyak.
Oh, Tucker, come on. You know that that's not the way in which the form is written. Furthermore, the form says you have to be honest and you have to be completely forthcoming with information. He did neither.
How much do you know about this? I mean, that meeting with Kislyak was on his public schedule.
How about the third meeting that we're hearing about, that he has not made mention of?
Well, they're denying it took place. Do you have evidence that it took place?
Do you have evidence that it didn't take place?
I don't know. I mean, we've had no eyewitnesses. We've had no one allege that it took place in any specific way. And Sessions himself and his staff say it didn't take place. So I guess until...
We have James Comey, the former director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. In the closed session, it came out because we all know leaks are synonymous with Washington, D.C., even if it's a closed session.
So Comey said it. Where did it take place and when?
Well, Tucker, hello. They said that the third meeting happened. Now, Comey did not provide details. He did not provide details. I was not there, so I don't know if he did.
But it's something you heard on television, therefore he should resign because of that. Because why? I mean, do you see the crazy? I don't want to be mean to you, but I mean, do you see that if before you destroy someone's life and force him out of his job and impute his character, wouldn't you want some evidence before you do that? But
you mean the same way that Jeff Sessions was calling for Hillary Clinton for us to disband her? Like, he was destroying her character as well.
Therefore, he deserves it now? Is that what you're arguing?
No, I'm not arguing that.
What are you arguing exactly?
What I'm arguing exactly is that he was dishonest on his form. What I'm arguing exactly is that he has no place being an Attorney General to begin with. What I'm arguing
exactly... Because he doesn't like the NAACP and he had some secret meeting about which he knew nothing. Absolutely not. What I'm arguing exactly is that this is another tile in the mosaic of dishonesty that is the Trump administration. And we have to look at it in totality. And that is a problem. So you don't like the administration. Anyone who works there should resign because they're tainted by the dishonesty. I mean, look, I guess here's the point I'm making, okay? I think Sessions is worth defending as a man because I think he's an honorable man, and I happen to agree with a lot of his ideas. He's honorable. He called a black attorney a boy. Even if actually he denies that he said that. Okay, so if I deny it says something that makes it the truth? I don't know. It's not proved. And I guess this is the point worth defending here. And it is that you ought to be required to prove something before you punish someone for something. If we held a criminal trial using the standards you're outlining here, there'd be a lot of injustice, don't you think? We don't punish people unless we can prove they did something wrong, and you can't. Well, at the same token, the President of the United States, who lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, has made a lot of assassination of character on people, but we have not said to him, not only do you have to apologize, you have to be held accountable. Did he not say that President Obama wiretapped where he lived? I think we're arguing different things here. I'm not here to defend the President's Twitter feed. I'm merely saying that the Attorney General of the United States shouldn't be forced out of office unless we can prove he did something wrong. And in the case, for example, of the third meeting with the Russians... Okay. As if 2 wasn't enough. As if 2 wasn't enough. Do you think it's disqualifying if someone coming down off a riser is greeted by a foreign ambassador? Does that disqualify you for high office? Are you saying that that's what he did? Do you know the extent of his meetings? Yes, as you saw, well, that one meeting. I mean, I actually interviewed someone this weekend who was standing right next to him, who's not particularly a Sessions guy, just happened to be there, and I take his word for it. And by the way, there are a ton of other people in the room, like 100 of them, and no one alleged otherwise. I'm just saying, shouldn't we have a higher standard before we try to destroy people, or no? I don't think it's destroying him. I don't Forcing him to resign. That is not destroying him. He's already... How would you feel? You teach at Johns Hopkins. Yes, if I said, I've heard that Wendy may have, I don't know any details about this at all, but may have met with some representative of a foreign government I dislike, and I'm going to go to her employer and say she needs to be fired right now. How would you feel about that?
I would feel okay because I know at the end of the day I can
You
go.
feel okay.
I can go before the world and say, actually, I did not. And we will see tomorrow that Jeff Sessions is not going to do that. Instead, he's going to say, you know what, I will enact executive privilege on this and I will not answer these questions. And that's what we're going to see. And we're going to see him play the blame game and say, I lied on this form because I didn't know what I should put on the form.
The blame game.
That's what's going to happen.
So I do think there is a higher principle here, but you clearly disagree. Wendy, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.